you go live, you just go ahead and find it and we share it.
Cool.
Alright. Let us know if y'all can hear us. We back. Another Tuesday. Another live. How you doing, Q?
How you doing?
Doing amazing.
You doing amazing? You had a good day.
Long. Every day is long. I love Tuesdays.
Little Tuesday. It's good.
Last Tuesday was fun.
Last Tuesday was very fun, very interesting.
A lot of
I knew it was coming on today. That's surprising. They was too prepared. Too prepared.
Oh, yeah.
They came in like vultures last week.
We had the whole high school in there last week.
Yeah, the whole
that's
time.
dope.
It was in the building
It had
last week.
its pros and cons. It was cool. It was more pros than
They
cons.
should have had some ARC flyers so they could have put like posters they could have put in the comments because they was there. They definitely was there.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Mr. Kim Makin. We got Kim Makin in the building, you know, media legend, you know, South Carolina, Augusta area. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. About you guys?
I can't well, before we get into anything, like this, Marvin, what you been up to lately?
Oh man, I got to share with you. Thriving a bunch. I just did a commentary for the Christian Science Monitor on the American Revolution. It's actually a 6-part, 12-hour documentary by Ken Burns. So I put 750 words out to the world. Next thing I'm working on is I'm actually doing another commentary on the Eddie Murphy doc, Being Eddie. It's on Netflix. Yeah.
It's good too.
Highly recommend.
It's
It's so good. It's so
It's good. It's good.
It really, you know, we've seen so much of Eddie Murphy, right? Obviously, you know, from stand-up, you know, to the movies. I just thought that he dropped so many gems in that movie, you know, as far as, you know, just spirituality and, you know, really just trying to keep balance and perspective.
Yeah.
So I really appreciated, you know, those perspectives from someone who, you know, generally speaking is, you know, really just made us laugh, you know. But seeing the kind of, you know what I'm saying, like balance and middle ground he was able to find in life was really good to see. Oh, what's up, son?
Good.
Son said, Mike's not on.
Yeah,
So
I
you
hear.
might not.
Or maybe I need to speak up, I don't know.
Oh.
Let me know if
Can
y'all
you
can
hear?
hear. I can.
Can y'all hear us?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear us?
Can you hear? Let me start over.
Hear us now?
Huh?
Can you hear us now? Can he hear us? 'Cause he said the mic was on.
Try this.
Thanks, my name's split.
They said it's low.
Oh. Actually, that I think. Oh. Mike, what about now?
Still not on.
Not that, yeah. I think they can hear it now though.
Okay.
Thumbs up if you can hear it now. Let me just go to my phone. Cause I don't want to be talking and they can't hear. Cute comment. He said it's on.
Y'all silly.
Yo, shout out to Q, man. All right, so we good. We good. Oh, all right. He gave me
There
the
it
thumbs
is,
up.
thumbs
All
up,
right,
thumbs
shout
up.
out to Slim. Well, shout out to Rodney. I ain't calling him Slim no more.
You don't call him
Shout,
Slim?
nah. Shout out to my guy Rodney, man.
After y'all garage y'all names, it don't change.
That's why you can't have a name with size, because you just never know. You never know. That's my guy though. But well, now that the mics is on and everything good, I do want to ask, what do you consider yourself like in media? Is it journalism? Is it journalist? Is it or just a writer? Like, how do you identify yourself as a media personality?
Great question, man. I really pride myself on my versatility.
Why you didn't say you try?
I was gonna say it, but I ain't want to cut them off too much. My mic just got hot, so I don't want to do too much. You know what I'm saying? I do try though, for real.
No, shout out Jenny Southworth, somebody who my first journalism job was at the Aiken Standard about 20 years ago. And at that time I was just writing. And she was a photographer. She's actually taught at USC Aiken. She really encouraged, me to get into photography and basically to get into any, journalistic medium I could get into. Mm-hmm. And so that's really like a perspective that I've taken on. So, hey, I do it all. I write, and of course, writing has different layers. You have reported stories, reported journalism. You have, opinion journalism and commentary. I do photography. Obviously, I've done photography for a while. I do some video, obviously podcasting and, blogging, vlogging, whatever it takes. So the short answer is I identify as a journalist.
Okay. I asked that question because, when you're reporting news and you covering topics and stuff, like, what do you do or if you ever ran into a situation where you've been covering an individual or entity for a few times here and there, whatever, been all good. Then the minute it's something not good, like they question your journalism at that point. Like it's fine when it's when everything is like two thumbs up.
Right.
The minute it's like, hey, I don't know, man. This is not. It's like, whoa, get your facts straight. Mm-hmm. It's like my facts weren't straight when I said you was good. I just kind of said you was good.
Right.
So what do you do then when you ran into that?
So that's one.
If you ran into them,
and I have. It's one of the uncomfortable realities of journalism is that there really are no friends. It's to me, like, my friend is the story. My friend is the truth.
Damn.
So, if I'm telling the truth, like telling the truth will, you may be friends with me today because of the truth. You might be my enemy, a couple of weeks from now or a couple of minutes from now because of the truth. But I think that's I know that's the responsibility of a good journalist, of any journalist really worth their salt, is to tell the truth. Like, who do you serve? And that's why I love you two, because y'all have proven it, man. 6 months, 17,000 followers speaks for itself.
Yo, clap it up for Q. If y'all not home clapping, something wrong, man. Clap it up for Q.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Don't be modest.
Nah, seriously, man.
We love.
I'll be loving it too. Like I love it, and I love to see people that try to trash talk it, have to succeed and be like, this is good stuff. Have to comment on it and be like, this is good stuff. I like that.
Yeah, but no, the truth is that's the standard. You know what I mean? And and obviously with telling the truth and caring about people, you get you're able to do this like great storytelling.
Yeah.
And so obviously that's something that you've done. I always go back to the interview that you did with Evan when he just got out of prison.
Yeah. Shout out to Evan.
And I was just like, wow, the way you humanized him, with that interview, and it's something that you've done consistently. That was like, how do I say, in your infancy, but you were, like compared to, like
to
where
now,
you are
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But to have those type of instincts very young in your career and in your passion and the things that you've been able to do, to have that come out, I was just like, man, he's special. He's somebody different. Same with Q. You know what I mean? To see Q covering these like real heavy topics, and it starts out as like a clear interest. You know what I mean? Of I want this city to be better. I think, the elected officials can be better. So, this is what it looks like. And this is how, this is how, in Q's case, this is how I tell a story and telling it in a way that people can identify with. We always laugh, Maine and myself and Tommy Archer, shout out Tommy. I tend to use big words. So they always on me about big words.
Yeah.
I've actually tried to come off of that a little bit as much as I possibly can.
Look, it's rooms you got to use those words.
Nah,
man.
seriously, man. I like to
It's
learn.
specific rules.
I like to learn. Like you people like you are needed. You know what I'm saying? Because then I get to ask what it mean, and you tell me on the spot. You're not just using big words to use big words. That's the best thing to me. Like
Right.
when I say, "Hey, what that mean?" and you can tell me what it means.
Oh, human dictionary.
I love it, man. I love it.
But here's the thing. The average American, I think, reads at like a 4th or 5th grade reading level. So there's a way when you engage in civics, when you engage in informing the community, you do have to not dumb it down, but just present it in a way that people really understand. From that perspective, Q really falls into this legacy from the 60s, from Mississippi Freedom Party. They actually did cartoons where when they were trying to explain like who the sheriff was, who the coroner was, like they would do like literal, like kind of, very rudimentary comics.
Rudimentary.
Yeah.
There we go. That's the first one. Hey,
Ding, put a time on there. It's very simple comics.
11
for
minutes
people to
in.
understand. but no, so all that to say, appreciate what you all do, appreciate you all's energy, and the city appreciates you guys as well.
I want to touch on something you said though, because I think it's more to Q's to greatness as well. Like you mentioned, people reading at a certain level, and I remember her first starting out, and obviously at first I felt like I told her last year I thought she was good at everything she was doing, but you could tell people sometimes I think people they think you're just saying something to motivate or whatever, and then I look at this year.
Tell the truth.
Tell you about what?
We had the conversation.
About you?
Preparation.
Yeah, I will say things had to happen so this could happen, but it wasn't so much like you being bad. It was you and you saying like I don't want that out. I'm good. Like it was all on you. I'm fine with that. I just think that you take those steps. I still think it was good though, but obviously you wanted to put out something that was great or something that was amazing, something that was fantastic, or a nice body of work, finished, polished. But what I was gonna get with like even when she started doing the long posts, you hear the first thing you heard was like, I ain't reading all that. I ain't reading all that. Like, fuck you mean it's 3 paragraphs. Like, I'm not reading this. I'm not reading books at home. I'm not reading all this. But then you see quickly, no, people will read all that.
People will
and more
that.
than once.
Yeah, man.
A couple of times, and they'll send it to other people and have conversations about it.
And
it's in other counties, and it's just a conversation. Like you go in rooms and they like, oh yeah, I read everything you post, like everything. We have conversations about it, and it's real because of the phone calls that you get, the type of people that you encounter, the rooms that you do get invited in. So, yeah, it's been a big deal, and we haven't heard too many people say that they ain't reading all that, because this is very much a reading page.
Yeah, that was
very
a beginning level kind of thing. But
right,
I also
very
think
much for scholars over here.
that's one of them things where even in media, in a sense, or just content creation, whatever you want to call it, I think when people feel like they know you or they can reach you or that you just visible, they try to do things or say things to like stop you from doing it. All right, then how long it's gonna go? I don't think when it was March, I would say March, May, April when you start April, something like that.
April.
I don't think April people thought that November it would be like I'm gonna say 17,000 times better than it was than it was back then. I think people thought midsummer, all right, and I know that from people commenting and saying things, So I thought that was good for her to say not only I'm gonna continue to do it, but I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna make sure you do read all of it.
Yeah.
Cause it's needed. And then she break it down like kind of like you said 4th, 5th grade reading level. Like I feel like a 4th, 5th grader can read it.
As they should. It should. I think under which post was it? Was it the most recent post about was it about the commissioner? Anyways, the famous, what's his name? what's the white man name that they always, Brad Owens. They've been wanting me to talk about Mr. Brad Owens for a long time, baby. I'm not in that world, but I am not. But when he commented, he was like, he read it. He done read it a couple times, and he basically was trying to insult me and say, well, what's the point? Or what you getting at, what angle you're coming from, pretty much is what he was saying. So I basically responded back, you read it exactly how it's supposed to be read, neutral. I'm going to leave picking sides to you guys, because that's what you do. You know, you're looking for me to pick a side. I'm not picking a side. You read it exactly how it's supposed to be read, in a neutral stance. We don't supposed to have no side. It's just what happened. But it's stuff like that, like when Brad Owens come, the different people that people talk, like we don't know these people, but since I've been in this particular world, people point out certain people. So when they comment under your status or they like the status, like if y'all go look at the 17,000 people, if y'all see the level of people that follow the page, you be like, wow, like, yeah, it's up there. It's up there.
That's a great, you know, perspective and look on it. And you know, I think that's a way that you prevent yourself from being typecast. You know what I mean? Because, you know, there are these kind of bubbles that people will put you in, whether it's, you know, that person's too progressive, or whether, or, you know, they may say, oh, well, this is just a black media or a black page. And obviously, you know, there are, you know, advantages to that. And there are also, you know, ways where, you know, what's understood, you know, doesn't have to be explained. But at the same time, you know, some of our forefathers and foremothers, if you will, you know, when Charles Walker, you know, started his paper, black isn't in the name of that paper. Barbara Gordon, when she started the Metro Courier, again, it's the Metro Courier. It's, you know, not African, not black, Augusta News Review, and it was started by Dr. Millender, you know, and so, you know, you have AUG Explained. You know, I get it. You know, it's a page for Augusta, you know, by people who care about Augusta. So that's the focus. As far as some of these, you know, I guess folks who have a certain political standard, you know, look, you got into it with a Jail Report on the page. You know what I'm saying? I love stuff like that.
I get into it with Jail Report all the time. At least it ain't been the month of November. I don't think we got into it in the month of November. But for the most part, since I started my page, every month me and the Jail Report get into it. So
right.
That's good, I guess, it's good. It's really good, actually. I like getting into it with the Jail Report a lot. I really do.
I think it really just, more than anything else, it shows the type of reach and power and influence that you have, because, you know, those type of conflicts don't happen. I mean, and you're able to have them on your page, like you say, with home court advantage. You're also able to go to other places and say, hey, hold up now. You know, we're not going to talk about, you know, this young person, or, you know, whoever it is like that. And so even with the interview that you guys did last week, you know, a lot of times what happens in Augusta is this type of ambush journalism. And I'll speak on this. Y'all don't have to speak on this. I'll be the bad guy. You know me, I don't mind being a bad guy. You know, media in Augusta, there's very much like this white gaze. And I think, you know, elected officials, I think people are intimidated by that. I think that's kind of the standard. Again, you know, ambush journalism, you know, when we talk about, like, you know, like your Augusta Chronicles, you know, some of these folks on WGAC, I'm going to call them out, like I said, because like I said, I'll be the bad guy. You know, you have these folks, you know, that are kind of, you know, covert with, you know, some of the negative, you know, leaning toward racist things that they say. You know, but shout out Eric, man. Eric, hey Eric, thank you for your service, man. Stepping in, for sure. You know, putting on for the city, all of that. But no, you know, there are folks who will speak truth to power, and you know, like I said, I enjoy. First of all, I'm enjoying this moment, particularly sitting in between two media moguls in Augusta. Let that be known. But also, I'm sitting here as a person who's done this for over 20 years. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I've been
very respected.
I've been in newsrooms. I've been in the Augusta Chronicle newsroom. You know, obviously, did so much, you know, to facilitate and support the Metro Courier. You know, I've been around, learned a lot, some trial and error. But at the end of the day, man, it's really about serving the people. And for me personally, man, it's just about like telling the truth, no matter how uncomfortable that truth is. So, and I know, you know, again, in media, some people take that to, you know, a certain point, and they say, well, this is my stopping off point. Mm-hmm. And I'll take that baton and, you know, take it wherever it needs to go. So that's just me.
Yeah, I see people coming and done certain stuff. Like I'm gonna need
Hey,
a
Catherine.
bodyguard. I'm gonna need a bodyguard to go out in public. When I talk about certain topics, they be like, "Oh, you gonna need a bodyguard to go out in public," and it's more of our elders because of the mindset of, "Oh, if you unveil this, then people are coming from you." And my question is always, "Come to get what? Come to stop what? Stop what?" I don't work for the city of Augusta. I don't depend on them to make income. So, what exactly are the people going to stop? I be wanting to know what they're so afraid of because I get that a lot from my elders. Like they be like, "You got to watch out because these some dangerous people."
I think
I believe it. I believe that they're dangerous because look how long they've been able to run circles around y'all. Absolutely, they are extremely dangerous because y'all they have been able to do exactly what they wanted, which was to make y'all be afraid and shut up. And that's exactly what happens continuously.
what's going on, Catherine? So I'm glad you speak
Hey
on
y'all,
this.
how y'all doing?
How long have you all been doing this? I just found this page. Been going live for couple months now. But April.
Yeah, the
April?
page's been established since April the 9th.
Yeah.
That's
April.
amazing.
So yeah, definitely like it. Share this live, comment, and come every Tuesday we go live, interview or just have a conversation with the people. But she posts every day, so you get news every day.
Yeah.
I try.
If it's not news, it's you gonna highlight something or tell you what's going on in Augusta or something like that.
I have a question for Q in that sense because it's not just a news page. It's an all-encompassing page. It's entertainment. It's news. How do you strike? And I think that obviously has been a factor into the success and the popularity of the P word, popularity of the page as well. But how are you able to strike that balance of really being able to draw people in, keeping it newsy, but also kind of giving the people what they want? You know what I mean? In terms of drama, stuff like that.
I think it's the supporters, to be honest. I think it's because people engage. So people engage. They also send things for me to post or for me to research or and of course nobody wants news all the time. Like it's already hard news depending on the way that it's given. It's already hard news. So you don't want to be overloaded with it. So although I want to, I know like there's some boundaries that need to come, some form of balance that needs to happen. And at the end of the day, it's not all, it should be all things of Augusta. Augusta isn't all crime. Like the jail can only hold 900 people, be for real. Like, so to make it seem like it's crime. Yeah, somebody may get killed, but you're never going to be able to stop crime. Like, yeah, there are certain cities in the United States, cities that may have zero crime, but they don't have 200,000 people either that they're trying to manage. So I be looking at it like that. Like they can only hold 900 inmates in Augusta, Georgia. Literally, it's 200,000 of us. But if you just Google like DUIs in Augusta, Georgia, you're going to see a bunch of mug shots that come up with nothing but black people. Like, and the people that's reporting it is Augusta Chronicle, the Jail Report, Augusta Press. Like, all of these news, anything that you pull up that's negative pertaining to Augusta, it's going to have a black face that's attached to it. And I just felt like that shouldn't be because that's not how our community, we actually real cool, we laid back, we chill. Like, yes, there are some niggas out here that be doing nigga shit. Like, they just do. We ain't gonna never be able to stop them. Like, shit, we like lock them up too. Like, I mean, why not? If they doing wrong, lock them up. That's what law and order is for. But it's
Bryce.
not all bad.
Bryce, you still beefing with Q, man? Come on,
Who?
man. Bryce, it's on YouTube too, so Bryson be on my YouTube sometime. Shout out to Bryson either way, but
Oh Lord,
I think he was upset
think
with
I
the
blocked
AI
him
stuff or
off our
something like
page.
that.
I might unblock him. I might done.
Shout out to Bryson.
I think Bryce was the consistent one saying something about AI. But now that I'm talking, how you feel? Yeah. Now that I speak well, how do you feel?
It's YouTube.
He said no beef.
No beef? Okay, well,
beef.
shout out to you, man.
Yeah. Once
It's
you
all
find
love.
out that it's a real person that really got intelligence. I mean, how do you feel now? Because he was like heavy on it. Oh, it's AI this, AI that, da 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 da. Like, okay, so now that I'm in front of the page, should I say, how do you feel?
I wanna stay on like the truth topic for a minute because and that's Q. Maybe you answer this and Ken. You say you want to get the truth out as a journalist. And then Q, I know you get a lot of messages, a lot of information. how do y'all, whoever, like determine like what's true, what's not true? How do you determine when to take what somebody's giving you false information, or when to be like, okay, I need to investigate this before I report on this, or this is not worth it. I don't know enough yet. Like, how y'all go about that?
I definitely have a way, but I differ.
For me, it's it really do depends. Like if it's community conversation, like people who want me to put somebody on blast, like let's just say apartment complex or something on blast, I feel like they should post it on their page first. Like post it on your page and make it public, and then I'm going to talk about what you posted because it's about community. But me coming out and publicly bashing the apartment complex, not having any type of reference point, because again, if y'all can tell from the page, I screenshot what is already public. It's already public information, so I'm just using whatever is public to talk about it. So I'll use that public information to talk about it. Somebody personal business, like having some type of disease or something, we're not gonna talk about it. Just it's different levels to what I will or will not fact check. Things like the complaints about the teachers and stuff to that nature. This stuff is coming directly from people who are working for the actual, so they just can't post it on their page, so you understand that. But it still needs to be kind of told. And like I said, we're community. We're for the community. All of us are a part of the community, so why not know what's going on in our community so we can help our community get better?
So first of all, what Q said, she's basically talking about being like a soundboard, like being a forum. And that's so important, man, because a lot of people don't feel like they're being heard, especially people like, for example, you're talking about teachers like in the school system. So when you take a post like that, whether, anonymous or not, to put that commentary out there and to immediately get feedback. I know you're getting inboxes and stuff like that from teachers and people in the system. Like and it's really the elephant in the room. And to be clear, when we talk about, like education and challenges that are facing students and teachers and administrators, so on and so forth, these are not problems that are unique to Richmond County.
Right.
These are issues and concerns that we see nationwide. So, but at the same time, I understand the sensitivity of people, when, they go to Q's page or, they see these things pop up and it's like, oh man, because now it's, well, we got to try to cover this up or we don't want to look bad, or what this is really about is people not want to lose their jobs.
Pretty much.
Right.
So I get all of that.
Somebody did, real quick, somebody said, what do I need to search to find you on YouTube? For now, you just go to More Than the Masters. Be on live on YouTube right now, and going forward, we live on YouTube from there on Tuesdays. But you could, but the real answer, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but you're gonna subscribe to the page. You get all access to everything. So subscribe to the page. You get all access to everything. I definitely think it's worth it. So, but I can't, I can't force you to do so. But yeah, I will subscribe to the page, and you can find it on Facebook, everything. So, yeah. Eric Gaines said, "Consider the source." I think that's definitely
1,000%.
definitely true.
And I think we've done a good job at becoming a credible source, being invited to different media outlets, conferences, and just different media spaces to represent, like, for whatever event, to provide some form of coverage for their event.
I want to say this though, Q, and I know Ken, you want to talk. I'm gonna let you say your thing, but I do need to say this one thing. I do think, and I'm saying this just as me, I think that people watching should do. I think that if you're not subscribing, if you want to like donate or something, I think you should donate, because, and I don't ask for money at all. I never do that on my own page, but I think we should donate just to get Q phone bill paid. Let me tell you why, because I know for a fact her phone ring all the time. I'm somebody who, me and Q, I know her for a minute, don't get me wrong, but like, I would say heaven the last 2 years, we've spoken a lot. And bro, I mean, I know I'm horrible with the phone. She know that I'm horrible, but she's not though. That's the thing, she's not. And sometimes like, might talk on Monday, I might not hear from her till Thursday. But I know because she be on the phone. Sometimes when you're on the phone, you have to stay on the phone for a long time, because I don't even gonna talk again, because her phone constantly ringing. I think I'm saying the donate part because it's ringing, because she's trying to make sure she get all her sources, get to all the places you need to get to, be in the space you need to be in, so that we can get that credible kind of news. So she's not just saying what I heard. She's there. She's seeing the attitude. Right. She's seeing the room, the vibes in the room. She's seeing these things. But that all go back to that phone. I know that, the phone bill, I know it's crazy.
There's so many people that has my phone number now.
She need another phone. You need a phone strictly just for the other stuff. So
It's a lot
y'all
of
do that,
people,
man. Y'all do that today.
I always say people like, oh, Augusta's so small, everybody know everybody. You do not know these people. Like y'all, we have no clue that these people exist. The type of people that call my phone, they're not on social media. Somebody screenshotted my stuff and sent it to them, but they're not on social media. But they're very powerful and influential people. They make phone calls and figure out who people are. So
I got you, Catherine. Shout out to Catherine, by the way. This was cute idea. I gotta give her kudos. She said put it on YouTube, and of course we got YouTube comment. I gotta tell them it's YouTube because it got that red mark on there. So this is Ken Makin, all right, from South Carolina, but he do media in South Carolina and Augusta.
Ken
Been doing for
Jamal
20
on Facebook too.
Kent Jamal, Making a Difference page on Facebook. Go add that page. Go like it. Did a lot of great work in the community with politics, sports. Just you write for ESPN, if I'm mistaken. You've written for
you gotta say
so
that
many
again.
things. Yeah, I know. Yeah, he's a big deal.
On here.
He a big deal.
He
a
writes
big
for
deal.
ESPN, y'all. We got somebody on here that
And then
writes for
I'm
ESPN.
just assuming, Catherine. I know this is rare in this space. This is Q. If you don't know who that is, all right.
Hey,
She runs the AUG Explains page, the Augusta News Network. I'm sure you heard of it. And we go live every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
So I'm just putting it on YouTube now. That was something she suggested that we just do that so that we can keep the video. Facebook trying to take the video down 30 days. We ain't got time. And her phone ringing. She's trying to get the news out. We ain't got time to save video. So we're just going to put it on YouTube. And thank you for Karen for commenting because you're the only person commenting from YouTube. But I like the StreamYard thing because you can get the YouTube and the Facebook comments all on one video.
That's good. That's real good.
So thank you, Catherine.
Thank you so much. And it's nice seeing you or engaging with you, should I say.
She said, yo, shout out to, I don't know you, but I like you already, bro. Like, I like you. I'm going to call him T-Flake. I'm going to call him T-Flake. He getting a nickname.
I was going to
he said, oh, I like Zoe. Now, Zoe. Shout out to Zoe. He said, sound like she don't just need the phone bill paid. She need gas money, too, going all around Augusta. Yo, yeah. Yo, just go ahead. Just go ahead and donate.
Look, I'm going to
I
the
like that.
alternative school tomorrow.
Oh,
they got
dope.
some new books that they were issued. And me and the alternative school, we had some interesting insight last week when I went.
Yeah,
I didn't
last week.
like their poverty simulation. Like they did a imitation of the kids being in poverty. That was, to me, so effed up. I had to send them an email and say I don't think that was good. Like, they're already in poverty. Like, why would they be doing a social experiment on poverty, not on
It's their
credit
life.
repair or trade or anything to that nature? Yeah, it was bad, but they invited me back, so we're back.
I know we skipped off on that. I know I'm good at trying to bring it back.
No,
The
man, it's
truth.
all good.
Truth.
Go back to the
You ain't get to say your
Oh, no,
piece.
I'm gonna say my piece for sure. No, so first of all, I think to be a good writer, to be a good journalist, you have to read. You have to read a lot, and so yeah, I do a lot of reading. Matter of fact, you don't have to show the book, but as soon as I came in, I looked.
Nah, show the book. I love that you don't have to
feel
show
like
the book.
Kid
What
that
it
I
say?
posted
Propaganda?
Who went to who got
Can I
the
see that?
who got the college letter when he received this college letter from Middle Georgia College. Yeah, I feel like that when I got that book.
Yo.
Like it's cited.
Propaganda, how police and the media manipulate our news. Dog, let me tell you why Ken is a funny guy, right? Nah, I ain't gonna get into it.
Don't get into it, man.
I like, but see, that's why I like Ken. Like he ain't even come give you no whole spill, no whole. Hey, I got a book for
Like
you.
just read this.
Starting with the title, by the way.
No, so let me get into the book specifically, and then I'll circle back
How you
around
doing,
to the
Alexandria?
truth.
How you doing?
Alexandria, good evening. Appreciate you checking in.
But yeah, but go ahead.
So I'm the person that's like, and I think people know I'm critical of policing for
Very.
two reasons. Number one, I understand the history of it. I understand how it's descended from slave patrols, and so obviously as a black man, as somebody who identifies as African, that's something that's extremely problematic to see something that has descended from something that was so clearly oppressive. The other concern, immediate concern that I have about policing is how much of the taxpayers' money it takes up, and so. It really doesn't allow for political imagination. I think when you see, even the people who are running for political office, they'll have these kind of, one-liners or, kind of baseline points about, well, we got to, reduce crime and so on and so forth. To me, I think there's a lot more that goes into public safety, than crime reduction. I believe that when you focus on poverty and reducing poverty, that you end up reducing crime. So these are points, again, things that I've been reading up on and studying, and obviously having seen and experienced in terms of like city budgets and different things like that. And so in reading these things and experiencing these things, this is out of my heart. This is out of the things I believe. This is what I'm sharing. This is what I'm speaking on. And so that's in turn, when we talk about obviously truth and in journalism, a lot of it is informed by not just facts, as I'm talking about, but also feelings. And I know people say things like facts over feelings, so on and so forth. I think, being in a position of, and I think all of us are really in this space, there's journalism, but I think when you are an African in America, or if you're a person who is progressive and conscientious, you end up being an advocate. And so your journalism becomes advocacy. And this is nothing new. Frederick Douglass was in that space. Ida B. Wells, was in that space. And so, we have this responsibility, of being advocates. And so, once you commit to that, now it's, you're in this, what's up?
No.
Now you're in a space where you're, where you're really speaking truth to power. And that's really how I approach journalism. And so it gives me a little more leeway, if you will, to speak on certain issues.
Right.
And it always goes back to, this is for the people, by the people. You know what I mean? So that's how I approach journalism.
Yeah, I know. Oh, Ken, my God. No. Well, I'm giving it away.
What I
Something
do?
going up. No, you did nothing, But, I got a history with Ken as far as like interviewing and stuff. And I always be transparent. I say this. My favorite interviews, I think we both are the same thing. Sometimes the interviews I like the most aren't always the most viewed. I like it the most because I learned. Yeah. So I like talking to Ken because I always learn.
Right.
But years ago, we did one. And I asked him to grade some people. I said grade Kamala and Biden in the office or whatever. And he shredded them, of course. They weren't doing good, what can I say? And I'm not going to ask you to grade Trump. I'm more concerned with local politics now, right? and so I see the propaganda thing over there. So first thing that came to mind was like, yo, won't you grade like, how would you grade our sheriff right now?
Oh, man. Let me say this up front. I don't think I could give any politician in Augusta anything higher than a B-. Just because of no.
No, I like it. Keep going.
No, I want people to understand. I'm grading on a standard. You know what I mean? And it's how are we serving people? What are people seeing? Downtown Augusta, for example, we all know it looks pretty bad, right? It looks like a war zone, honestly. Somebody in downtown Augusta has the conscientiousness or has the wherewithal to put a sign that says parking deck, and the parking deck is this way. So you can show me where the parking deck is in the middle of this war zone that we call downtown Augusta. But when I get to the parking deck, I have to pay to park my car in the parking deck.
Right.
Why is this problematic? Because taxpayers paid for that parking deck to be built. And so why is it that, and again, I understand it's bigger than elected officials, but Augusta as a system, as an idea, as a government, why is it that people don't say, okay, well, since the construction in downtown is an inconvenience, since it's limited parking, let us make the concession or provide the access for people to be able to park to rectify this inconvenience. 2 words, and everybody loves it. It's why you like those funky chicken sandwiches at Chick-fil-A. It's customer service. Customer service, makes bad things acceptable, almost good. You know what I mean? So, that's excuse me. That's part of it. With that, I'm looking at something Eric said. I'm sorry, Eric's like
No, he just said I like that for the people, by the people.
Right.
That was something before. You didn't get to the grading part. I'm waiting on that. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Oh,
you acting
Gino
like a politician right now.
Gino gets a D. Gino gets a
well,
D.
Damn, hold on. Let's just can we just chill for a second?
What
He
I do?
said nothing less than a B-.
Yeah, no. So we and then you said.
Then he said a D.
Yeah, Gino gets a D.
Okay, so the sheriff right now you grade him a D.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, now we get into it. Okay.
Yeah, cool. Oh, now you want me to tell you why?
Yeah,
Yes.
please.
No. So he's obviously in a no-win situation because of how things were left, right, from the former sheriff. And I understand that some people are going to watch this and they're going to say, well, he hasn't been in there long enough. And my response
But
to
he's
that
been
is,
part of the system.
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing is that if I start a new job, there's going to be some turnaround time, but within a few weeks, a few months, certainly, like the expectation is that I'm going to be expected to perform.
Yeah.
And expected to perform, at a professional level. I think, the challenge of being a sheriff, and this is obviously an unpopular position for any sheriff to take. I think, just in the way that we look at policing, if you care about crime, how much of your budget are you willing to give up or pass along to anti-poverty measures? Mm-hmm. How much of this is, okay, I want to put more cops on the street? Does more cops on the street mean less crime? We all know, we can look at the data and understand that the answer to that is no. Mm-hmm. So why then are we putting more cops on the street, understanding how much this is going to cost? So now I'm looking at the situation, I'm saying, oh, okay, so you care more about optics than results, than production. And again, this is not just a Gino issue, this is a systemic issue. So I'm really grading him more so how I would grade the approach to policing in general, because that is bigger than Gino.
Right.
He's honestly a representative of
The
what
system.
government wants. And again, it's hard for any elected official to run on a platform that says, actually, we want to take some of this money for police and put it to other things that we think will, lower crime, but will not be as dramatic as more policing or more traffic stops, different things like that. I'll take this on too, because there was a pretty interesting conflict that the paper that shall not be named put with the aforementioned sheriff and the DA. Mm-hmm. And that was a particularly interesting conflict from my perspective, because you have a gentleman here with the sheriff who says, I'm going to be tough on crime. And you have another gentleman who says, and the DA who says, I want to be smart on crime. Mm-hmm. And people interpreting smart as soft. But that goes into, when we talk about propaganda, it's from Paw Patrol to Law and Order. It's all around us. It's this idea of, well, the police, that's the only way we can protect ourselves. That's the only way that, things will get better is if, like I said, but my ideology, my perspective on what makes the world better,
He definitely did. He hit the nail on the head.
Well, thank you.
That's been Hassan. That's the truth teller right there.
You know what I mean? So, I lean so much into the Panthers. Next year, October 2026 will be the 60th year of the Black Panthers. And the Black Panthers were college-educated men who came back into their communities and said, we will provide free healthcare, free breakfast for children, free education. We believe in armed self-defense for our communities because the police are coming in and beating us up, and we don't want that. We can protect our own communities. Like, they had everything covered. And the government was like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. But get this. But get this. Now, we like what y'all doing with that free breakfast. We're just going to call it WIC. You know what I'm saying? We're just going to call it SNAP. You know what I mean? So the government sees it, and they want to be it, but they can't. All right, I'm gonna chill.
No, I liked everything you said on there. I think it was cool how I asked you to grade, and you was like, well, just even though you asked about this one person, nobody get anything higher than the B minus. So that was cool.
No, Q, you can jump in. I got something on that, but
I think too, like even with us doing the grading of officials, it's stuff changes. That's why they call progress report. Things happen, and the more that you see, or things change. Things definitely change. I think we gave him an A or something, or a B something. I can't remember what I gave him.
Who?
I did
The
post
sheriff?
Gino.
Oh, yeah.
I think I did, or maybe I removed it because I said I was gonna put it in. But either way, I think I gave him a B or something like that. Something on that rim. But there are some things that kind of transpired that would be like, dang, you know what? Might be on the C average because again, we still got to handle business.
Yeah, but like I said, people start out strong, and then
They do because like talking to Monique Braswell, we have like this internal joke where I be like, "You people." And you people is basically the older generation, like the elders, the ones that kind of be making, like they be holding. I call you people the people who be holding grudges, like just can't move on or move past or see a perspective from a different. So she always be like, eventually you're gonna become you people too. And she's right. Like eventually I'm gonna be somebody, or we'll be people that people hate. Hell, we already people.
Yeah.
People already hate us to a certain extent, but it's stuff like that. Like you just pay attention to it.
I want to, jump into that. The idea of kind of OGs, elders, like I really. So I've had the good fortune to kind of engage this. I went to Claflin University earlier this year in Orangeburg and had a chance to sit down with some of the forever members, older members of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee of SNCC, and they were people in their 70s and 80s, but their minds were just so fresh and so young. Like they were almost like they were talking like people in their 20s and 30s. And it was such an interesting contrast from some of the older folks that I've been around, just in communities that I've been in. I think there's kind of an expectation that when people grow old, they grow bitter, conservative. It doesn't have to be like that. But I just think that the secret, and this is also part of closing the generation gap, those conversations got to be had. Understand, like the elders, there's value in what the elders bring as far as their experience, as far as their understanding. But if you look at revolutions, if you look at movements, so many movements in human history have been led and dictated by younger people. So I think, even what we're seeing now in terms of a media movement here in Augusta, we're seeing it from relatively young people. You know what I mean? So how can the elders come and support that? How can the elders bring energy to that? We can obviously talk about your money, but we also need your time. We need your viewpoints. We need you to tell us, hey, this is what happened in 1970. Hey, this is what happened in 1950. This is why we had to consolidate the government. You know what I mean? All of those things, are vital, to our understanding, but we don't have to necessarily wallow in those things. I think it's important to understand the past, as a means of informing the future, but not necessarily dictating the future. Yeah.
I agree.
Shout out to all of the pillars of the community. That's dope.
So many Augusta artists are guarding and guiding the city.
You said what? What
This
is
is Catherine.
Shout out to Catherine, man.
She says what?
She said, shout out to all the pillars of the community. So many Augusta artists are guarding and guiding the city.
Well said.
100% right.
Catherine's a dope poet. Let me say
No,
that.
yeah. No, I never seen her live, but she used to go to Joe's something and whatever. I would see her.
Joe's Underground.
Yeah, Joe's Underground. Yeah, and I would see her there. I had just started doing the media thing when I found out who she was, and I just got connected from there. I've been trying to get her to come on a pod. You know what I'm saying? She got to come outside the house.
Yeah,
So
I
come
love the
outside.
elders though. I love our elders. The elders, they guide, they inform. Sometimes they just harp on they just harp on the issue. Like, okay, yeah, we know it's racist in Augusta. We know it. Like there is never not gonna be racism in Augusta. It's a lot lesser than what it was. But it still exists, and we can't harp on the fact that there's racism. Just embrace it. I mean, don't you want to be around somebody that is a racist and actually admit that they're racist? I mean, why not? I don't think it's no harm in being around racists because it exists.
I wanted to ask you. You mentioned like earlier, you were talking about the sheriff and that breaking that down.
Yeah.
Budget. Anytime I do a podcast with somebody and I say, Ken, you got any questions for me, right? It's always, out of the 3 or 4 he's sent, it's always, or if he's in one, it's a budget question. When I did the sheriff that one time, I said, hey, what you want me to ask him? Budget. That was it. It was just strictly about the budget. Why is that so important in your line of work?
Oh, no. To me, when it comes to government function, it largely begins with money. And, and I think elected officials, I think politicians hide behind, oh, well, we don't have the money to do that. You know what I mean? So, okay, show me. Let's see what you have the money to do. I live in North Augusta. So in North Augusta, I know that a significant amount of money, I want to say bordering on 50% of taxpayer expenditures, are spent on public safety, which is fire safety and police. So that's a significant amount that is not spent on what? It's not spent on transportation. It's not spent on not beautification, but, creating places, for children to play, where there's parks or, just various opportunities. Like there's no imagination. I continue to use, the word political imagination, because that's, that drives so much of, what you can or cannot do in the city. But for me, it's always going to be about the budget, because no, you're gonna have to show me. You know what I mean? You're gonna have to show me that, okay, well, we don't have money for this. Well, you got, again, I go back to North Augusta. North Augusta is spending $250,000 on a living history park, which, has very colonial, wink, wink, slavery type origins. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, but you got $250,000 for this. But I'm looking at, some of the parks, where my kids play or where some other kids play, and you don't have the money for that. But again, these are things that obviously there is a responsibility that falls on politicians. But again, there is also a similar responsibility that falls on the advocates. Mm-hmm. And again, this is what underscores, the work, some of the work that you and Q do. I would really lean in talking about Q on this, because Q, she's sharing the meetings from Augusta. Mm-hmm. She's sharing budget here and stuff. She's sharing stuff that, look, it's not going to get as many hits as some of the other stuff that she shares, but this ain't about likes. Yeah. This is about letting people know what's going on. Yeah. Information and knowledge, of course, knowledge being power. But that also goes back to the budget. The budget, really helps you understand, hey, knowledge is power. This is how much the city is spending on that. This is, the city spending money here, here, and here. Well, why aren't they spending money here? Great question. And that underscores the importance of, obviously you're sharing the budget hearings and, wanting to go to, go to these meetings. Hey, that all that is baked into it. Augusta has really cut back on a lot of that, supporting charities and, it's disconcerting. It's the taxpayers' money. Yeah. It's not government funded, it's taxpayer funded. Eric.
I want to read that comment. He said, I think it's also important to note that the older folks are reluctant to change. I definitely agree. They forget that change is the ingredient for growth. Mm. Some believe that the youth can't tell them how to do something different, considering how they have experienced less than them in many cases.
You know what I think that is? I think we can put that in one word: trauma. Q was talking about the racism earlier component. I don't think we should trivialize that, because it informs so much of what we've seen in Augusta. Mm-hmm. I've talked about it before, like the Augusta riots, what it meant to have tanks coming down Lane Walker Boulevard, what it meant for the city to be torn apart because, a young black child was murdered.
Can I say something about that real quick? Go. I thought it was dope. This is me telling personal business, I'm going to say it anyway because it's good. Mm-hmm. But I've seen Q had sent me some links about that. Yeah. And I could tell she was very, very excited about it, because she sent like 3 or 4 links about it. And I was like, yo, shout out to Q. Because like it's some stuff that she knows and stuff like that. But I think when you finally get like the full scoop of knowledge on something like that, you be so intrigued. And I could tell she was intrigued, because she was like, you watched it yet? You watched it? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get to it. I'm going to watch it. I did watch it, though. For me, my daughters watched it. Yeah. My oldest daughter. But, yeah, that was dope. I thought that was dope. I ain't get to tell her that. I ain't even tell you that was dope. Like, you sent that, though. But, yeah, we watched it that night. Both of them. She sent 2 documentaries.
I did.
Yeah, see? I ain't capping.
Yeah. But the riots inform so much of Augusta's social and political history.
Ken supposed to get this guy on for me. About 3 years. I'm sorry. A month for him. 3 years with Karen Gordon, but it's not a big deal. What's the guy name again?
It's about Corey Rogers.
Corey Rogers. He was just talking the other day. Yeah. I'm supposed to be trying to get him on. If he can come on here, that's fine. Don't matter. Apparently he's an Augusta historian or something like that, right?
Yeah, he's like that.
But he knows a lot about the riot. I want to ask all the questions, because some people don't want to watch documentaries. They want to just Q&A. They like Q&A.
Right.
But yeah, this would be dope for him too. I think because like she interested, I'm interested, so I think it'd be cool.
Eric
Holla at
Gaines.
people, man.
I was just about to mention the right from the 70s. A lot carries those moments still to this day. It's part of what I believe causes the same mindset to be passed down to the next generation. Definitely, man.
Well,
Racial,
that's trauma.
yeah, and
Yeah.
for sure. But I mean, even that trauma is baked into the consolidation. You know,
But
okay.
I can say the elders that reached out to me initially, it started off with a lot of history, a lot, and you can tell that we were stuck right there. And just with having conversations with them, now the conversation is, I'm just telling you this because you need to know the history, but we not gonna sit here. I felt like early on we was sitting in just history instead of, okay, that was then. We talking about right now. What we got going on now. How can we change now? But yeah, give me the history of how we got here.
Right.
So,
Shout out to Zoe. He said, "Some do feel that way, and it's crazy. Some of the older folks had to go through change during their time to get what we have now. So,
for sure.
yeah, shout out to Zoe, man.
yep.
Gave him a new nickname and everything, man.
Like I was trying to explain to our elders, I'm 38. I ain't experienced nothing. I ain't had to protest. I ain't been part of no riots. Life in Augusta for me and a lot of my peers has been cool. We went out. We had a great childhood. Despite anything, we still had a great childhood. There was a lot going on when I was a child, like a lot of innovative programs. It looked like we were moving forward. You were excited about being an adult. I always say I have a 21-year-old. My kids didn't really have a childhood in Augusta, like not like going, I don't know when it stopped, but like maybe 2009 or something like that. It just kind of died down in Augusta where nothing, you ain't really see kids outside playing or just a lot of movement just kind of ceased. And a lot more, I guess, crime, if that's what you want to say.
It made me
picked
wonder
up
how
a
much of
little bit
that is attributed to what Kim was saying, far as like going back to, I guess,
History.
budget and stuff. Is like, hey, well, we spending money
more.
here,
Right,
but we not,
cutting this
upping the
off.
budget on the parks and recreation and
Right, because
just.
we went to camps and stuff. Like literally, it was. I don't remember my grandparents paying for me to go to a camp or like I'm talking about in the camps all summer. type
Yeah, who had the
camps,
money for
or
that, you
like
know?
I had a camp at Payne College. They were taking like it was so many different opportunities that was available for you to be a kid and explore in
For
Augusta.
sure.
We had what was the thing called on the Riverwalk, y'all? The
Fort
museum,
Discovery, I got
Fort
you.
Discovery. Like it was boring, but it was interesting. to have. You get what I'm saying?
I ain't
Like,
never heard of it. That's
yeah,
crazy.
it was boring, but it was
What was
interesting
it?
to
Like,
be
what was
part
it?
of it.
What was
It was science.
Like
science.
a science
It was
museum.
different science experience, not actual. Was it experiments or they were actual like it was scientific.
Like interactive, like
Okay.
science
Yeah.
exhibits.
Yeah. So it was good. You was going field trips and stuff to go to Fort Discovery and just they ended up changing the name, and it kind of went down from there. But it's
No, I was gonna say the Riverwalk is a great point of reference because, of course, that reminds us of First Friday. Did you ever go to First Friday growing up?
no, growing up.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
You went as an adult though, like downtown.
Like
I-
30
I-
adult.
Okay, cool.
Like
cool.
in my 30s, first time going to Augusta downtown.
I remember when First Friday was like a big deal and like everybody used to go, but then there was like some violence that happened, in downtown during that time. This is during, I forget if it was during Roundtree's early tenure or if it was during the previous sheriff's tenure. But
I think it was Roundtree.
there was a
Roundtree,
lot of change that happened because I actually know somebody who was shot in downtown during that time. Not fortunately didn't get killed, but of course, that changes the tenor and the attitude of downtown. Now it's very much about, we have to police this area. But understanding once you do that and once you kind of eliminate, a certain type of vibe and attitude in downtown, now you really open the doors to gentrification. And so now downtown has a different look, has a different feel. And that's also something that can kind of stagnate the kind of the community vibe and the community energy. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what I like. I like and this is something that's always been here, but I'm starting to see it kind of vibrate again, like the potential of Augusta. You see an event like Foodies. I remember when Foodies was there on Reynolds Street. That was last year, or because I know they just had a Foodies at the fairgrounds, but Foodies before that was on Reynolds Street. And I was just like, man, you got this little strip of, of road and area that so many people were on and people were having such a good time. And I'm just like, man, imagine if they could just run that down the Riverwalk, what it would mean, for the destiny of Augusta. to create, a family-friendly atmosphere in Augusta. And that was always the expectation of the Riverwalk when it was built. But that's something, again, that comes with political imagination and comes with political will. And I don't think that's something that is necessarily the burden of elected officials alone. That's something that falls on media, and it's something that falls on everyday people to have those conversations. Eric, talking about Jordan.
Yeah. I'm reading it all.
Okay, cool.
I will say this. Shout out to Jordan for always bringing up the community during a lot of the commissioners' meetings. Oftentimes, I think many of them on the commission are so disconnected from community due to the fact that they're not facing many of the experience and issues that the masses face on a daily basis.
Yeah, I agree. I remember watching a commissioner meeting, maybe in October, and they were talking about transportation. And Commissioner Wayne Gifford was like, people ride the city bus? Nigga, yeah. Like, what you mean you don't know that people get on the city bus and ride it to go? Like, what do you mean? But that just showed how disconnected the people that sit in the commissioner seats are from the actual public. Like, y'all be voting for people and y'all don't even really know who y'all voting for. They ain't came out their district. They don't know that other life exists in Augusta outside of theirs. And it showed so loud. Like, I ain't gonna say embarrassed, but it was just like, y'all really, everything that people have been saying about the commission, it shows like every day, every single day.
I probably would have been embarrassed. Not like, secondhand embarrassment. That's embarrassing.
That's embarrassing.
It's
Because
appalling.
you're
It's
representing,
evident,
you're a part representative of a 200,000
He was
plus
like,
constituents, and you don't know people
do they
ride the bus.
So do they ride the city bus?
Great impersonation, by the way.
Sir, yes, they ride the city bus, sir. Because I think he's like what is the pro something. He
Mayor
makes
Pro
him
Tem.
Mayor Pro Tem. So he always speaks with like confidence and authority and I'm right type tone. Right. So if you're right all the time, surely you know that the citizens of Augusta, where y'all are paying thousands, hundreds, millions of dollars to fund this, that there's people from the actual community that utilize that particular service. And they actually get on the bus and ride it. Like, he was just, that threw me. I don't think I'm gonna ever let that down. Like, if that was like a ding, if I was in his district, even though I know buses is not in his district, so I understand, but you still a commissioner, so you should know.
A lot of comments and energy coming in.
One of the new favorites, Zoe, he said, he the same one that said in a recent meeting that to reduce the big buses to vans. Cousin
Shout
out to Kobe, man. He said, and more would ride if it came to Hesba and further.
I think that's dope. Let me talk about that. Let me talk about
too.
that for a second. So in North Augusta, there's a flea market. Like that could be a terminal. Everybody's talking about like, what should we do at Regency Mall? It's not as popular. I know people want arenas and stuff like that out there. But put a transportation terminal out there, man. So so from South Augusta, or really from the heart of Augusta, you should be able to get to Aiken. You should be able to get to Fort Gordon. You should be able to get going back toward Hepzibah. Like, create those opportunities for people. But there is a reason why, and I think it's very deliberate, why there's not more transportation, there's not more access and opportunity. Because when you do that, you liberate people.
Yeah, limited thinking. I think a lot of stuff is just their capacity of growth is not there. Like they don't intend to grow. They intend to keep it the way that it is because they're comfortable the way that it is. And growth means that you become uncomfortable in the position because now you got to do work. And a lot of commissions don't do no work. Yeah. So growth require them to, they're going to have to do some work, some real work.
But I do think it's intentional when you limit transportation because there are folks who have, gotten up from Richmond County and have moved to Columbia County. And those folks don't want to see people from Richmond County. So they don't want a bus coming out there, from South Augusta or from East Augusta. But hey, if you're telling me the jobs are out there, I need a bus to get out there. Wait, hold on.
No more routes.
Yeah.
Keep them out. No more routes.
So it's very deliberate. I'm curious about what Shami said.
Shout out to Shami, by the way. I want to say this, Shami Meek. She actually I don't know when she started following. I can't speak to that, but I do know she was very heavy in the comments the day we had the two commissioners that was going for District 5 or 4.
Four.
Yeah.
4.
She was heavy in the comments because she lived in there. So she was the one asking most of the questions that they was not answering. And afterwards, I'm messaging her like, hey, I'm going to try to get these answers to you. You know, so
Shout out to
her.
you, Shammy.
She said, you have to remember the crack era babies are grandparents now. By nature, when a person starts using in their adolescence, their maturity level is stunted, arrested development. This led to a lot of folks who had the power back then were not able to pass the torch. Many of those folks are still in power and don't want to let go. There's a huge disconnect and mistrust.
It is.
That's a dope. Oh, clap it up for her, man. Clap it up. That's a dope comment.
Shout out to you.
Dope comment.
I'll say, like, there's the, she mentioned like crack era and different things like that. I just think I do think that's something that is burdensome. I won't say it's our community thing. I think it's just difficult for elders because, it's always, well, young people, you got to pay your dues, or, you have to, they like why we got to be the eggs to make the omelet? You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that
I like that. Say that again.
Right.
Oh, why we got to be the eggs to make the omelet?
That's what we should have titled the pod. I'm changing the title on YouTube after this.
I said, talking to one of my friends, you know how we pretty much are hard that our kids aren't raised like us, like. But why? Why would you want them? Why aren't we celebrating that they didn't have to be raised like us?
Right.
Like, why can't we just conform to what they have been raised and change ours, whether it's the rules to whatever we have or the punishments, whatever it is, to how they are living? Because we chose to raise them in the society in which they were a part of, just like our parents chose to raise us in the society in which we was part of at that time. But it's like we villainize that our kids are spoiled, that they didn't have to get it out the mud, and that they don't know, but we don't know how to conform to use that they didn't have to suffer.
It's cooking. Keep going.
That they didn't have to suffer, and in order to be great. Like, we're saying that our kids are lazy and things of the nature, but really we just ain't we ain't give them no standards. We're not disciplined enough with our kids. So we just need to change the way that we're raising them, even though we're raising them in pretty much, I guess, soft, if that's what you want to call it. They're soft, or they're not go-getters and all that other stuff. They ain't have to be. They didn't have to be go-getters. Yeah. They had to be kids, and that's what they have been. So now that they are either preteen or going into adults, how do you transition them into adulthood? We're upset that we put our kids in position where we can go furnish their apartments for them or buy cars and stuff for them. Like, they don't have to struggle. Most of these kids got cars. Like, my kids got cars and stuff. We didn't have no cars when I was a car. Like, somebody gonna buy you a car? Like, are you for real? Like, we ain't have no cars and stuff. Most of these kids driving, they got their own car. Their parents take care. We are the parents that take care of their bills, but we villainizing our kids for not being the type of kids that we were. They didn't have to be. Yeah. Now we just need to learn how to make them be what we are.
But you know what's crazy is, like, we remember a parent or some elder saying, like, I want things to be better for my kids than they were for me. You spoke it into existence. So what's the issue?
Jimmy Meat Cooking, she said, because the struggle was a part of our DNA.
Yeah.
They had to bend the knee and feel like we should have to bend the knee too.
But that just comes back to paying dues. I think there are ways to inform and raise your kids and present accountability without being so rigid. I don't spank my kids, and there's a book for that too. It's called Spare the Kids by Dr. Stacy Patton, and she talks about how, like, actually, like, physically harming your kids actually, like, it affects their brains, like, it affects their critical thinking, so that was a huge game changer for me to say, no, if I say I want things to be better for my kids than they were for me, that's just not me buying cool stuff at Christmas.
Yeah.
That involves their education, that involves their well-being, that involves their upbringing, all of these different types of things, man. So it's
And I
just
really-
about being better. Yeah, go ahead, Q.
And I want us to get out like the mindset of having to do things that we were conditioned to do. Like I always say that if I knew what I knew now, my kids would not went to nobody public school. They would have been homeschooled off top. It was just this thing that it seemed like it was mandated for my kids to go to school. Like they had to do this particular way. It just everybody around me was doing it. When I took my kids out of school, public school, and this was just like 3 years ago, people was like, you can't do that. Like even the school system went against me homeschooling my kids because it was different. It's not something that people are used to you doing. So it is that like some stuff you just got to think outside the box. Like why was this created? I'm always well, why was this created? What happened for this to be created? Why is this like that? I ask questions. I ask a lot of questions. And I just feel like we need to think outside the box. Certain stuff is not a benefit for you. You want to know why you can't get your kids out of school, why they can lock your kids in school, and you got to get permission. You want to know why they take your kids, while defects can come to school and take your kids, and you won't know nothing about it. You need, because you gave the school your permission. Like they are custodian parents of your child while they're in custody or in their care for the most part. Yeah. But it's just certain stuff you just need to read. You just need to read and change your mindset too.
To piggyback up what Q said about reading, I just can't wait till I get to Ken level. I could just say, hey, it's a book for this. It's a book. That's like to me, it's a cool
like
flex.
It's a 400+ page book.
He said I had to learn how I was raised and how my son is raised as two different worlds. It was hard for me to accept that, but I had to come to the realization that work for me will not work for him. The issue is when you give it, when you give to them, but don't push them to excel academically, join the military, or choose a trade profession. Okay, I like that. I like the comments, man. Make sure y'all share it live too if y'all watching. But I definitely like the I like the engagement. I always love the engagement. It kind of keep the conversation flowing. If y'all have any questions for Ken or Q, y'all definitely can ask them. Of course, I got some, so I don't want to hog all the questions.
Who said that?
No, I'm just saying I don't want to hog mine because I can. I don't mind. It's kind of what I do.
I got questions though. So what do you think ethical reporting means, Karen?
Oh, you in your bag today.
No.
Her bag today. No, Q in her bag today. I like that. Shout out to Q.
I want to revisit this idea of, not having friends in this space. And because there are going to be times when I think I'll put it this way. There's a way that familiarity creates friends, right? If I see you all the time, whether I see you at church, wherever it is, if I see you in the store, there's a way it's like, oh, I know you. So there's like a certain association that comes with that, right? But there's also a way that familiarity breeds contempt. I see you all the time. So now it's so I think it goes like that with, with reporting, with politics. There are going to be times when there are going to be some people who watch this. And again, I know a bunch of the commissioners, have dialogue with them, love them, whole 9 yards. That's going to be like, Ken, I couldn't get no higher than a B-. But I guess I'm a college professor. I'm great on the curve. Like, it is what it is. But to answer the question of ethical reporting, again, it goes back to a standard. It goes back to, to morals. When I write for the Christian Science Monitor, it grounds me in a way because their standard is to injure no man. So, and I think I've shared this with you before, it's attack ideas, not people. And so that's how I generally approach things with the Christian Science Monitor. Now, there are times, of course, when I understand that people are so symbolic of an idea that I then have to challenge the person. I think our president is a very good example of that, even still, the president is a mascot of, for corporations. It's easy to look at what he's doing and say, that's a GOP problem. But I see the presence of, the current president as more of a bipartisan issue. But circling back, to this idea of ethical reporting, it's reporting by any means necessary. It's telling the truth, by any means necessary, no matter who it offends, because there are going to be times that the truth is going to offend people. And it's going to offend people that you might have to interview next week. And that interview might be a little icier than it was before. It's got to be that, though, if you believe in this profession and if you believe in the ethics of it. I also think when we talk about ethical reporting and when we talk about the industry in general, this is the dope thing about Q really coming through and shining, because like journalism as we know it is a mostly white male dominated industry. When I was at the Aiken Standard from 2004 to 2009, there was one black person for every year that I was at the Aiken Standard. That was 5 people working in the newsroom. Again, that was over a 5-year period, myself included. When I worked at the Augusta Chronicle, there were very similar demographics. So you have to understand that there's a certain destiny that's baked into mass media or majority media that's going to have a very dangerous bias. And that's why you need people like Q. That's why you need people like me. That's why you need people like myself, to speak to issues at times, with a racial lens. But when I see Q post stuff, Q pretty much she'll pretty much lay the facts in front of you and say, it's up to you to decide. I love that. I'm not so tender. I'm pretty much going to lay it out here and say.
And which is crazy, because then the comments, you'll make it, you'll think that she said something wrong sometimes.
Right.
So that's really odd.
I said Carl Vinson is a racist. You know what I'm saying? I came out and said it. And I explained my viewpoint. But Q, and, this goes back to this documentary I was telling you about. This, I've been watching this documentary about the American Revolution. And that's what Ken Burns is a famous, he does like a lot of these documentaries. But that's what Q does. Q is like going into painstaking detail to explain every nook and cranny of the Charter Review Committee or a budget hearing, or, there was some opportunity or some organization that's in Augusta that helps young people. I think you were trying to explain that a few days ago. Like going through this great detail, but that's all of that is baked into ethical journalism.
What's the question on here? I guess anybody can answer this. What's your biggest challenge as a parent when raising your child or children in today's world? You got young kids, Ken?
I do. My kids are 7 and 4. This goes back to something else I wrote. I actually was on a Tavis Smiley show. I written this column. My wife and kids and I went down to Great Wolf Lodge in LaGrange. And it's about an hour from the legacy sites in Montgomery, Alabama. And one of the sites is I always get this kind of jumbled up. It's a sculpture park. It's monuments there. And one of the monuments had a man with chains on his neck. And so my son asked, Daddy, why does that man, because it was a bronze statue, why does that man have chains on his neck? And so I had to explain like the history of enslavement, but I didn't keep it there. Like it was from slavery to freedom. I think there's a way that, that we have to teach kids. This goes back to some of what you were saying about when you're having these conversations with the elders. It's like understanding, yes, there is a violent and racist history, but we can't be stuck here. Like this isn't quicksand. There has to be a move and a shift towards liberation. There has to be a move and a shift towards action and freedom. Going back to kids, I raise my kids with the understanding that if I don't teach them, somebody else will. And so let me control that narrative. It doesn't matter how challenging the subject matter. It doesn't matter, how sensitive the topic. There are ways that you can tell it to a 7-year-old. There are ways that you can tell it to a 4-year-old, and you just continue to build on that knowledge. But the key is to be in your child's life and to be that presence. So, I mean, shout out Maine. Maine was just over here laughing with Bailey.
Oh, you saw it? Yeah.
Yeah. Man, you a gold standard with being a father, man.
Thank you.
We love how you, and you're a person, because I know people are kind of like, I don't know if I want my kids out here. But I mean, like, part of your coming up with the podcast and with your media presentations, like you've incorporated your kids in that. And you've obviously, you've protected them and everything like that. But like we've gotten to watch your daughters grow up, man. That's so cool to see, man.
Yeah, shout out to my daughters, man. Yeah, barely FaceTime. She got her hair done today, so normally she FaceTime me. I just couldn't. Y'all was talking, so I didn't want to talk. I'm just kind of talking to her on the side, like send me a picture of it, you know. But yeah, I think that's dope.
How should media cover the black communities?
How should media cover?
The black communities.
I think all politics is local. It starts locally. So I think you have to invest yourself in the community. I think you've done a great job with that. So here's why because I don't want to trivialize how much of a challenge it is to be in this space. I don't want to trivialize, what it means to take on so much information and to take on like some of the negativity that comes with it. And I think I think that's also relative to like what it is that you choose to cover. Maybe you want to get into the sports realm, and that may be less controversial, if you will, than when you get into politics. You know what I mean? But whatever it is that you get into, you should be, I think, well versed in it. And if you're not well versed, like do as much learning as you possibly can. Q, that you strike me as a person that, you really kind of dig into like the subject matter, and where the subject matter might not be sufficient, you trust people and you have those dialogue with people to kind of get the story. Mm-hmm. You talked about, obviously, having those conversations with Monique Braswell. Monique Braswell, is one of one when you talk about, again, someone who before she was on the school board was an advocate for children.
Right, she was already doing the work.
So it's about doing the work. And I think that goes back to when you talk about media serving the black community. It's about putting a lens on our people and on our communities. And I think once you do that, I see so much joy out of, like, despite, the racism and obvious challenges and disparities that we experience, like, we're still such a very joyous people. You know what I mean? Like, our kids are joyous. Like, I see a lot of what happens, obviously, with HBCUs and bands and all of that. Like, all of that is very, but I just think that when we talk about like what's in our DNA, like, sure, there's struggle in our DNA, but there's like a great joy that persists among us. And I think that the role of the media is to cover all of that. A lot of why we're mad at, the paper that shall not be named and some of these other outlets is they say you're a criminal and nothing else. And we know that's simply untrue. Just lean on the media piece.
So I'm reading a few comments and we can go from there. I'm reading them in full. So we had another question that said why some parents focus more on being friends with their kid rather than being a parent. Kobe said, just lean on the media piece. Speak to the importance of having representation that gives us the honest narrative versus the black narrative that was created for us.
Stop right there. Representation is a word that I love less and less every day because representation gives you a visual, but representation doesn't necessarily give you power. And this is why I continue to go back to the 17,000 followers, because there's a power that comes with that. Now it's because I got 17K, now people are coming to me. Advertisers are coming to me now instead of me having to go to advertisers. People are coming are giving me the information now instead of necessarily me going out and having to go get the information. So now I can use my media filter and use my discernment. You understand what I'm saying? To present this product. I'm still going to go out and see what's going on, but there's more opportunity for engagement and connectivity, and that's where the power comes from. I think I was pretty critical of our black president on a previous podcast.
Yeah,
they were very representative. They took very beautiful pictures. You know what I mean? They were.
Remind me of somebody. Go ahead.
But what type of legacy did they have in terms of policy? Did they affiliate with progressive issues, black issues, or were they just like figureheads? And again, that's just not on, the Obamas. That's on a lot of black elected officials. We have more black elected officials now than we've ever had. Why has that not translated into political power? Why has that not translated into dramatic, social and financial change for our people? Because it has stopped at representation. So,
Yeah, you killed that. Ken is great.
Yeah,
Ken is
it
great.
is.
Ken is great.
I ain't gonna say I want us to stop. Like, I get that some people, there's not a lot of parents that's trying to be friends with their kids. Like, we really got to put that in perspective when we keep saying that. There is a select group of in parents, moms, and they all fit the same narrative for the most part of them being friends. And they not the ones they're not the kids that we're really that I'm talking about, if I had to be completely honest. It's a small group of parents that are trying to be friends with their kids. And are they really trying to be friends with them, or do they not know how to parent either? Because it doesn't come with any type of instructions. You just kind of go with the flow. I do believe you're supposed to be your friends with your kids. You're your kid's first teacher of how to be a friend. So why wouldn't you be your kid's friend? And I get it. I get it. We probably going to say something to the nature of, you don't necessarily mean it like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? But you're supposed to be your kid's friend. You're supposed to teach them how to be friends with other people. Like, being your child friend isn't a bad thing.
Yeah.
It just isn't. But I know we have this thing, but y'all know that when you say parents are trying to be friends, y'all know they come from a specific group of people, and you see them, their kids get in trouble. You see that they'll fight with their kids, and because I fight my kids too, but you just know they are way too invested in the kids' behavior, but the kids normally act like their parents.
I want to just expound on that a little bit and just say, like, it's more to, like just saying, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I feel like it's more than one way to parent. So if that worked for somebody per se, then that's fine. If your kid ain't out here causing trouble and they doing well and it's working, then hey, do your thing. But then some of us, we would have liked that growing up. You never know about your background, and I say this because I speak for you a lot of times too. But like, even your background, like, with having your time in foster care, like, you don't know what that did to you. So like, when you have your kids, you like, I'm laying it out this way. This is how I'm doing it, because this is what I wanted. And you don't know how your nights was, what you experienced. I just think that when it comes to parenting, some of it's based on how we experience things, but also every kid is different. So you got my oldest daughter, no problems ever in my life, ever. not yet, but no problems, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I feel like, sometimes I feel like we friends. She might say, yo, why you got that on for? Like, that look crazy. She might just talk to me like she the homie. I'm like, you know what? All right, let me go change real quick. It just depends. Like, but I think you develop that relationship with your kids. So I think it's just about what you develop. And maybe what he might be speaking on too is, like I said, if that kid is causing trouble, and then you realize that damn, the parent isn't parenting, I would take maybe the friend part out and just be like, why they not parenting? I would focus on that a little bit more.
I honestly don't think we're trying to be as parents and consciously being
some kids need a friend. Some kids need friends.
Yeah, like we're just, you're letting them do anything because kids also make their own decisions too, because they have the choice to make that particular decision. So, I mean, making a bad decision, my kids got plenty of speeding tickets. They know that speeding gets them tickets. I mean, they were raised right, or to a standard, should I say. But they still make mistakes. So they're going to make mistakes. They're going to get in trouble. We all make mistakes. We all get in trouble for the most part.
I also want to add too, like, because his question, I don't know if it's his story or what, it's just a question. So it's good to expound on certain things. But a lot of times too, a question like that, I could think of it not maybe being toward parents, but towards the other parent sometimes too. Mm-hmm. So maybe, and I'm not asking you to give me a business I'm just saying, like, somebody that asked that question could also just be thinking about their situation. It's like, well, I'm this way and the other parent is this way, and it's so I do think even in that sense, like, you think about, it's different styles of parenting. Y'all got to blend together. So it ain't about that person doing with the kid and this person doing with the kid. It's about what are we gonna do with the kid now. If we playing good cop bad cop, that's fine. Just know what come with good cop bad cop. That's what we doing. But let's be on the same page so that we know the results. We can kind of control the narrative. But I do think Kim wanted to talk about wanted to speak on a certain comment I think was dope. Zoe, you killing it today, bro. All you gotta do now is subscribe and donate. But it says, I meant that no one believes politics starts locally. I have an issue with that punctuation. So he had a comment beforehand. He was trying to say like, we gotta vote locally. The turnout
Right.
locally has been horrible.
Right.
So
Oh, he's saying no one. Okay, I understand it now.
yeah, that's what he was saying. He was just
Right,
saying
right.
like he
So-
wants them to go ahead and vote locally too, because that's where it starts at.
This is why I go back to civics, and this is why I go back to, like I said, what you and Q do, which is really kind of explaining things to people in a way that they can understand. The importance of people engaging politics on a local level is that a lot of folks will look on TV and say, I don't like Donald Trump, or I don't like the governor, or whatever. But your ability to kind of get hands on those people or to really get in front of those people is very limited and minimal versus your commissioner, whoever's on your school board. Like, you can go to a meeting and you can go speak to those people at that meeting.
And be heard. Well,
yeah.
We'll say things.
Right, you can say.
Yeah, you can say things and be
Right.
heard. Not that you necessarily are going to get any type of reputation. But you can definitely come. And
You might get
can talk
upset.
to the people
Right.
They give you your time.
down there. You can give your time to them.
But you have that type of access. And
Yo, Q is wild.
no, Q is
Keep it a bean.
shared and lived experiences.
Keep it a
Q is
bean.
letting y'all know. I went through that, so hopefully y'all have to go through that. But
Okay,
no, there are so many different ways to.
I just can't wait to get some fresh faces. It's 10 seats available. I cannot wait to get 5 new board members, 5 new commissioners. We just need new, fresh, and I do hope next year it be a complete change. It shocked the whole Augusta get shook up. I hope
But the
that,
street saying it's coming soon.
Huh?
Street saying it's
Right,
coming soon.
I hope that the whole Augusta is shook up by what happens next year. I hope that we are definitely involved. I know ain't gonna be no big jump as far as voting, but I know we are engaged. I know that.
But we can get people to vote, man. I want to say you guys were on with Lonnie Wimberly, and we were kind of going back and forth and talking about like the early voting piece. I think early voting piece is so important because, coming out on a Tuesday is challenging for some folks when you just put it on that one day. I mean, anything can happen. Sick kid, you may be sick. It may be raining. Whatever it is, I can't get transportation. So take advantage of that early voting period. There are times where you can actually vote on a Saturday. But again, we talk about stigma, we talk about trauma. There are some folks who, because they don't believe in the sanctity of the political process or think that, man, if I vote early, they'll lose my vote. Like, people believe that. But, it's our job as people who are in the media who
They can put it in their pocket and
Right.
shit. They lost the damn vote.
but you have to understand, like, there have been situations where, like, weird things have happened with people's votes. So people kind of have that, those concerns. Man, so y'all don't mind man. But we want people to vote early.
They should just understand, like, voting early, like, it's more of a convenience for you. That's what it is. It's voting. I'm a vote on the day person. I just like the experience of
I'm a
voting
vote
the
early
day
person,
of.
man.
That's just a me thing. But if I was one of them people that always forgot about the election, I'm just gonna do it because I seen it. I'm gonna go ahead and take care of it because I know when that day comes, I'm definitely gonna forget. If you're that type of person, you need to vote early. You do. You need to it's plenty of dates that come before the actual main day that you can vote. If you're a forgetful person, your time management is off, you should vote early all the time, every time, because it'll come and go. Like election day come and sometimes it be silent. I ain't gonna even lie. Like, especially in the local government, it be silent. Like, you don't know that it actually exists. Yeah. Like, I guess when they're doing a campaign, it be loud. So, of course, doing the early voting, you see a lot of campaigning and things to that nature. That's when you need to go vote. Don't wait till the day of, because sometimes it be quiet the day of. It be very quiet.
I want to ask you something.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
How rewarding was it to endorse a candidate? And there's a certain amount of risk that goes into that. And I mean, again, somebody who has really, as far as publicly, really gotten into the media space, how rewarding was it to endorse a candidate, have the candidate win, Did it affirm some things for you, or was it just something that you felt like, hey, I
Look at her
trust
smiling over there.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah,
talk about it. Let's hear about it.
that was a great feeling. But I'm a data's girl. I'm a numbers girl all day long. I had already paid attention to how we vote in any type of election. It's not super huge, and yeah, I do have 17,000 followers, but the impact behind the page is way bigger. It be reaching 3-4 million people. So I know that it has some form of influence behind it. But I was very strategic about choosing Lundy because the numbers made sense. Even off of whomever endorsed Tanya, I just knew that I had more engagement than anybody that could endorse any other candidate.
Okay.
I had more traction. People are more engaged than they are.
She talking that talk. Man.
They're more engaged on my platform than any other platform. We talking about Augusta, Georgia, the sheriff page, the marshal page. I mean, the sheriff, we probably neck and neck, but they don't engage like they engage with me. So I knew that I had way more.
She cooking for real.
I guess if you want to say influence, but I did have a little bit more influence to where I could push the nudge that he needed. Whether it was 100, even if it was just 100 of the 17,000 people that came from here, that would have been enough in this particular election. So yeah, I mean, it was rewarding to definitely.
Can I ask you a question?
Period. Period.
Ask you a
Somebody
question?
put in the comments.
Sure.
Nah, shout out to Dominique Curry. This is just to know, but did your endorsement have anything to do with when they sat here with us at all? Did that play a role in it at all? No? Yes, no?
Yeah. So when they came to sit with us to talk, that was like my first experience with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't know them personally. So to me, I just want to get to know them. One of my biggest complaints with local elections is that you just don't know nothing about the people who are actually being elected. They don't do a good enough job of getting to know who they are. So sitting here and getting to know Mr. Wimberly and Mrs. Barnhill, it just was kind of night and day. Who was ready, who was, like, it was just night and day. Like, it was night and day. And not to say that I had made up my mind at that particular time. I still gave, like, Miss Barnhill, like, an opportunity. I followed her to an event that she went to. And I followed her when she did the second forum, where they did the debate. And it wasn't someone that I would have picked, if that made sense. So that's why I chose them.
I want to read two of these comments back and then we can answer from because they both said about the same thing. Shout out to Hank, by the way. Hank got on me the other day. He was on live and Mike asked who he was. So that's the older guy. Man, Hank been on my ass. It was like, what you mean older guy? But I ain't know what to say because Mike was trying to talk. My bad, Hank. Shout out to Hank, man. But he said a lot of folks don't vote because they don't identify the direct impacts of the laws or changes to their lives.
I agree with that too.
E said, shout out to E. Go watch episode E, by the way. Dope episode too. He said, I've seen people not vote because they believe their votes don't count, especially in our community. It's a false narrative that has been lingering too long.
Way too long. I agree.
The apathy. But no, and that's why it's so important, man. Again, there's got to be it's mutual between elected officials and a community. You know, people will feel discouraged if they don't hear from their elected officials, if that pothole never gets fixed. You know, this park is unusable. You know what I mean? Like all of these different types of things like are baked into why your voter turnout is so low. But, you know, I think obviously we have a mayoral race coming up next year. I think business is really going to pick up, man.
Yeah, I think I got a bet, and I'm going to say this live. I got a bet out by next year elections about that there will be a much huger turnout than what it has been. They was like, ain't nobody coming out to vote in May. They was not coming out to vote in May.
It's looking like we ain't got no choice now.
To vote in May, but next year I do believe that they will be
you heard me, Q?
voting in May.
It's looking like we ain't got no choice right now. It's looking like we ain't got no choice. Cause even because it's people that don't vote because they just feel like, hey, I'm out of this. I'm gonna just watch it tomorrow when I wake up. Don't vote. Don't vote. Don't vote. But that could be so. I ain't getting to everything because I know it ain't out yet. But that could be so dangerous.
Yeah.
That could be so dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know, you probably more of the historical figure, like as far as like knowing. I don't know when the last time like for this kind of mayoral campaign, whatever. Like I don't know the last time it was dangerous not to vote, but it's dangerous not to vote.
It is
this time.
dangerous not to vote.
It's dangerous not to vote this
It's
time. To me.
dangerous not to
It might be
vote.
always be dangerous, but this time it's like extra dangerous.
Right. I just said that it may not be 100% voting, but I do, from the 28% that people normally participate, I do feel like it'll be like 35, 45%. Or maybe even 50. It just depends. I think that they're going to go ahead, that a lot of people is going to know that an election is happening next year. I can guarantee you, in May.
Considering all things that may unfold, whatever, right? I do think that, yes, because I think everybody will have an army
Yes. Yes. Yes.
with them.
Yes.
They got one already, everybody.
Yes, but you have to think about it. There's 10 seats available, right? Some very competitive seats,
Yeah,
five commissioner seats, 5 school board seats that's available. The mayor position is available. You have the SPLOS that's going to be on it. You have...
This is a power shift.
Yes.
This is a power shift election.
This is a power shift election.
Right.
Like, yes.
Because
Yes.
things. It's a high chance things could stay the same,
Yes.
and we need to be pissed for another
Yes.
4 years.
Yes, the
I'm
charter is on it
gonna
next year.
Once again,
Yeah.
But then there's a chance things can change.
It could change.
Maybe it's not what we
drastically.
want. I don't know. Then it's the thing, change can change and it'd be great. Who knows?
But you know
never
what's dope? Like, we can factor into that. Like us three sitting here.
Yeah.
As people who care, who are in the media, who are in alternative media, we can change that. We can, not dictate is not the word, but we can certainly influence
Right.
Influence,
and impact. You know what I mean? I think that goes back to the ethics of it. You know what I mean?
I do want to say this. I never told this. I'm gonna say it on air now because it's y'all too. But yeah, when Q had posted that like we endorsing Lonnie or whatever, I was like, what the fuck? Yo, because I said we speak and then we kind of do our own thing. But when we have to speak, we speak for a long time and then we do our own thing. But I was like, whoa, what the. And mind you, I never asked about it. We came here the next day, nothing happened. We recorded. We don't really get into all that, but I was just like, I be riding with Q. I'm like, whatever she do, I'm cool with it. It's fine. I'm just like
But then the day of the election, he
I
was
was like,
like, what if he lose though?
Nah, 'cause we live.
I guess we gonna be there when he give his speech that he lost. Like, I
Yo,
don't know.
shout-
I don't know.
Appreciate you, E.
But that was the chance. Like, I'm always, no matter who you endorse, again,
Definitely,
we're not
Dominique.
sore losers. So whether we would have won or lost,
I just had
to me, it would have
heard.
been cool.
I think talking to the Bread Brothers one time, and I forgot the lady, but she was at that Josie when I was at Josie. I can't think of her name right now. And she lost. And I remember asking them, how was that party like? Because I'm like, y'all was there. And it was like, bro,
Dead.
it wasn't a party no more.
Right, and that's expected. That's
But then I saw them at the party. I was like, oh, these guys are bad luck. Last time they was at a party, somebody lost. But now he won, so it was all good. Yeah, shout out to the Bread Brothers, man.
Yeah. So I mean, it
it's
was a great
good-
feeling.
yes.
I did get a slight pushback from it, but it was a great feeling to be. This is the first time we only been here 6-7 months now.
Yeah.
To endorse our first candidate and the candidate actually win. Means that we're impactful.
So I don't want to go 2 hours, so we about to wrap up soon because I want clips from this. But I do want to ask you a question. Hopefully you don't get me asking you this question. But and you can speak. You going to say how you want to say it. Speaking of the whole, endorsing and the results and things of that nature. Like where you stand now with? I know you made a post. You ended up putting it back up. You made a post about the endorsement of Tanya and this, that, and third with the sheriff, all that stuff. Like, where you stand with that now? Do you feel like it was okay to post? Do you feel like it was a problem? Do you feel like that wasn't endorsing? Like, what you think about that now? Like today?
No, say it again. Ask the question.
Okay, you made that post that one time, and it was about like a lot of screenshots. You had I can't think of what's the guy's name? I can't
Kelby?
think. Yes, him.
Okay.
You made the post and stuff.
The post was pretty much Kelby posed the question in the comments that said, well, he didn't really pose the question. He made a statement and said that the other side ran a very dirty campaign, and they even got the sheriff involved. And I thought that was interesting to read because that's a different perspective, because I didn't see that like that. I didn't see again, me endorsing Lunny versus the sheriff endorsing Tanya, because again, I'm not in that particular world. I did this. I didn't even know he had endorsed her, but when I
Oh,
endorsed
okay.
her.
I thought you did. So
No, I didn't. I
You
didn't
wasn't
know
being
that he
petty.
had
Okay, cool.
endorsed her. They called me and said, well, you know, the sheriff endorsed Tanya, and they trying to get there. But I'm a numbers person. So when I went and looked at the actual video and stuff, it don't have, social media is different. You can post and say that you are for somebody all day, but if you don't have the traction, it don't mean nothing.
Right,
And
right.
a lot of her endorsees don't have social media presence. I have social media presence, like real presence, real activity. People really, really follow what I say, which is something different than what they have. So in the streets, if the sheriff had made that and he was out at the cookout or something to that nature, then the people that's out there, yeah, they would probably 9 times out of 10. But him doing it on social media means absolutely nothing if he don't have that type of traction. He has good posts, like he goes viral for like posts or just have like a high number of likes, but as far as engagement, that's not what it is. So when I actually went and looked at the video, I was like, okay. But Kelby saying it, it's like, it was just, they were just having different conversations under it. Like him and somebody else was just having like a different conversation. So I screenshot it and I posted it. And I was just like, that's interesting just to think. And why do y'all feel like that? Because I don't feel like the sheriff was wrong for
Was that bad
endorsing
media?
nobody. Huh?
Was that bad media to you?
Is it bad media?
What
I
was
don't-
it to you?
Was
Like,
it bad media?
Yeah,
to
like
me? I posted it, so I don't think it was bad media.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, I don't
You
think.
talking about the endorsement? Or you talking about what she posted?
No, the
or-
post. Like, she just posted this public conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I posted
But
a
I
public
felt like
conversation. I
it was
did
taken
get
that way.
some form of pushback from it about it, saying that basically I was posting for likes and comments, and I want to be very, very clear. I do not get paid off this page. This
irony
page
of that.
is not monetized whatsoever. I spend a lot of time and energy doing purpose work for the past 7 months that is unpaid. So to all of a sudden claim that I am now going after likes and comments, but before, when I did no research, didn't know you, and I was pretty much giving you praises and glorifying. I ain't do no research. I don't do no research when I'm celebrating
It
people.
was fine
I
then,
don't-
right?
Huh?
It was fine then, though.
Yeah, I don't do no research. When you getting praised on the page, it's cool, but just as soon as it's something that go against the grid, and it's not something that I said personal, but anytime somebody is made a bad light on the page, I probably will get the hit from it, but it's
It come with it.
context
That's
for
what
the
come
most
with it.
part.
That's what come with it.
But yeah, it was something that I felt in the moment. I really deleted the post, but I put it back up because it was just like I didn't say or do anything wrong in the post, and I know that I'm not doing this particular work for no likes and comments. Like I actually get paid off my page, like my personal page. I spend more time on this page than I do on my personal.
Yeah, I was
page.
thinking. I seen
I
you post
would-
last few days, and I was like, okay, damn, about time you back. Cause I was like, shit, when you gonna post from Q page? I'm like, I see. I said, I said, okay, you got to come back to
But
the
then
algorithm.
monetize the other page, man. Don't apologize for nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like you.
But and like I said before, I'm not against getting paid. It's people. The J Report gets paid for their page. The Augusta Press, Augusta Chronicle, Fox 54 News. So news gets paid.
Right.
If that makes sense, they get paid to report the news. I'm not understanding why it's all of a sudden an issue when I am reporting the news, and I shouldn't get compensated for reporting the news, but. All the other news media outlets out here get compensated for reporting the news. And the people that have made this particular person, they've made him look bad in media in a specific way. You ain't go and chop them off or nothing. You just let the
Hey.
article be. Oh, we'll wrap it up.
Hey, man.
It is at 2
No,
hours.
no, no. I'm talking about my skin color. You like the color of my skin? Just,
I thought you were over Dame time. What you-
No. She can cook. I don't care about that. That's why. That's why you see it on yours and not the other one. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
my people.
I seen it and I felt it, but it's just like it was all cool when I did the praise post, but I didn't do any research. I didn't go search or anything. It was just based off of how I felt.
Can I tell you
at
something?
that particular moment?
Oh, you go ahead. Now I'm gonna tell us
No,
something.
no. I know. I'm giving you alley oop.
Fantastic.
When I did my episode, whatever, you do your post, whatever. This guy here be like, Every time he's not anti. I'm not saying anti that, but he be like, "Hey man, that's y'all guy. That's y'all guy. That's y'all guy." As soon as he came in here, hey, get this cute for her guy. So he been saying for a minute, and it's funny because I think that was the first day. So we were on the phone for a minute that day, but that was the first day I was like, you know what, damn, Kim might have been right the whole time. I don't know, like he was kind of out of pocket because we would free promotion for no reason.
Right, free promotion for no reason. And again, you have to sit into that because again, this is a learning curve. So you learn.
Yeah, exactly. He said, yeah.
Trial and error, man,
learn.
for sure.
But one thing I do want to say, because he mentioned this earlier, I don't want to forget this part, because you said something about it, Q as well. I think when you say the media is doing something for likes, that, and third, I think back to him, and I wasn't really offended when he said it the first time, but I remember thinking like, what happens when they post a picture and they say, "Hey man, we out here tonight for the DUIs, whatever." Which I mean, I'm not opposed to that, but that is also for likes.
For likes and comments.
And comments, because once again, we go back to the DUI and we see all what, but these same people saying, "Man, great job you doing." So it's like, then be the bad guy if you say something wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? So like you got to pick and choose.
It was just the type of comment.
All he had to do was be quiet.
Right. It was
and
just the type
fine.
of comment. It was the saying that you invited me to media.
Don't put your arm around me and be like, I did something for you.
Oh well, I gave you front row seat. No, you didn't give me front row seat on media training. I went to the sheriff's office to learn what you guys do behind the scenes. But media training was not given. It was just you guys showing us what happens behind the scenes at Richmond County Sheriff's Office.
Real quick, that go back to Ken. I'm real good at this kind of stuff. Go back to Ken, talking about how when he graded on that curve.
On that curve.
For the system. And I think you being independent, that's what the system do. You independent, you got your own following. Damn, let me give you something to act like I gave you something.
Like you gave me something. Yeah.
That's
I didn't like that.
That's systemic.
And again, not that I'm better or bigger than nobody. I just didn't like throwing in my face that because I took out my own time. It was a 3-hour class. Time is money over here. I'm an entrepreneur.
But it's almost like, hey, let me do this so you can't do that.
Right.
I want to.
Time is definitely money over here. So just like I was
she
invited.
said, y'all get into it. Hey, cook. She always talk quick at the end too. Nah, for real.
You said what?
Nah, they said we get into it now because I mean people know the ins and outs of some of this stuff. But
I mean, I just feel like it was exchange on both ways. The reason why people they reached out to me is because I am important. That's why. If I didn't have anything to offer, I would never have been invited in the first place. So I took time out my day to come. That was something that I was invited to that day. I stopped what I was doing to go to a 3.5-hour class. I lost 3.5 hours worth of work to go sit in a quote unquote media training that really just told me the behind the scenes of how Richmond County Sheriff's Office work, their different tools and tactical, different procedures, their new cars. It was like a show and tell.
Look at all the work we're doing. That's what we're trying to tell you.
Y'all better than me.
Look at all the work we're doing. Look at all the work we're doing.
Right. It was just a show and tell. But then to say that you gave me something, no, it was an even exchange. Or not really even an even exchange. I lost.
Yeah.
I lost by taking out my time to go to a training for 3.5 hours just to be present. Like that's something valuable too. So definitely, I mean, I like to respect everybody's time. And like I said, I respect all my elders, definitely, and anybody in leadership, but nobody gave me anything. Like nobody gave me anything at all. Nobody gave me anything. And what I'm doing is not for likes and comments. It's really for us to get involved. We are too lost in Augusta as citizens, too behind the ball.
Man. I told you all year, man. You know, people pick and choose, man.
You said what?
People pick and choose. And if you got big muscles, you're not exempt from that. So
You stupid.
It's all good.
You stupid.
But that's the thing with media too, man. It's just like, people try to chump you off because you're a woman and you're a sister, you know what I mean? So they feel like, oh, she light. You know
ain't going for it.
We ain't going for it, man. We in solidarity with you, man. Let that be known.
I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it.
Shit, it's almost over now, Tyrus.
Right. Hey, Tyrus.
But you the homie. Hey, Ty, when you coming up here, man? Put you on the spot. Look at that real quick. Talking about you coming up here next week. That's what you talking about. You coming up here next week. This was dope though, man. This was good.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
This was really good.
But I appreciate everybody tuning in tuning in. Thank you guys so much for staying in touch with us this whole almost 2 hours. Almost 2 hours
Yeah,
this time. And just tuning in with us.
Make
every
sure y'all go
Tuesday. We
follow
appreciate
Kim
it.
Makin.
I think people, at first, I thought you used to always say Kim Aiken.
Kim
No lie.
Aiken. You know what? Aiken
But
people disappoint me a lot. He not one of them, man.
Why am I saying watch out?
Nah, see, you know, look, see, look, real quick. Nah, not you. You know, you wanted to. I worry about you. I'm like, he really can't be from Aiken. You didn't drink the water, did you?
Wow, boy. No, so funny thing about it. Born in Augusta, raised on the Carolina side.
There we go. I knew something I was about you, man. Clap it up for this man.
I mean, it probably went no hospital or something. Or where you in North Augusta or Aiken or like that?
So funny thing about it. Born in Augusta, raised by Midland Valley High School, if you know where that is.
Oh.
So that's basically where I grew up.
Okay.
Graduated from Aiken High School.
Ah, he's not a valley rat.
And then this wild.
He's not a valley rat.
And now, in North Augusta. Hey, Trey Williams saying, shout out Trey.
Yeah, he
man.
say you the GOAT, man.
Listen, man, so many goats in Augusta. It's a beautiful thing to
3
see.
in the room right now.
Hey,
Right.
man.
Yeah, man, this was good.
Appreciate y'all checking in.
Yeah.
Have a good night too.
Y'all have a good night.
Be back.
will
You
be
doing that
back
Tuesday? Or
next
you taking Thanksgiving off or no?
Oh,
I
Thanksgiving
don't know.
is next week.
Hey,
I forgot.
it's not Tuesday, but
Don't want y'all
It's
be
not
right
Tuesday.
here.
I guess if you.
I'll be here.
Yeah,
So,
I'll be here. So
all right.
I guess we live next Tuesday.
Yep.
See
Y'all bring us
later.
some
Thank
food.
y'all so much for tuning in. We will
Share
see
the
y'all
live.
next week.
Y'all go vote.
Vote for what?
You know what I'm saying, like this in May.
It
Make
just
sure
sound
y'all go
good
vote.
saying it right now.
Vote early too.
Vote early
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. All right, man. We out. All right, Eric Yang. Y'all be good. All right, that was dope. We end it right there.